What was a fact that you regret knowing? Most people who jump off the Golden Gate Bridge don't die on impact. They have broken limbs and usually drown. There was a woman in the 18th century, called Mary Toft, who stuffed dead rabbits into her vagina and later acted as if she gave birth to them. The doctors believed her till one of them examined found corn in one of the rabbits' stomachs. It couldn't have been in there. She also did the same with a hog's bladder and a cat's legs. Also with about 15 rabbits. Don't know why I even know this. Maybe it's well known, but the song, "I Don't Like Mondays," is based on a horrific story. A teenage girl named Brenda Spencer lived across the street from an elementary school. One day there were a bunch of kids outside the gate waiting to be let in. And she just started shooting at them. None of the kids were killed, but 2 school employees were killed. The principal and a janitor, I believe. But I don't remember for sure. Afterwards she went back home to wait for the police, and she called up a radio station to tell them what she did. When they asked her why, her answer was, "I just don't like Mondays." My dad and I both took DNA tests for fun, and I found out we aren't related. 0% match. That my real mom is my sister. I'm adopted. Bob Ross actually hated his afro. When he started out it was the cheapest hairstyle to maintain. And once he picked up some traction, it was too iconic to get rid of. The magnitude of how dirty hotel rooms are. The disappointing part of this is that I've worked front desk at a bunch of different hotels, and those housekeepers are truly busting their asses. It's the hotel's fault. One place I worked had them cleaning rooms in 11 minutes. And 5 of that was just vacuuming. The Challenger space shuttle astronauts were most likely alive and awake on the way down. Chainsaws were originally meant to be a surgeon's instrument to aid in childbirth. No joke? Google it. I'm guessing medical chainsaws look vastly different than the chainsaws we know of today. More people jumped from the burning World Trade Center on 9/11 than you think. Do yourself a favor and don't Google it. This is the fact I was going to post. Watching 9/11 on TV, I was too young to know what was going on. But I remember my dad crying and saying, "They're jumping. They're jumping. Over. And over." Actor Daniel von Bargen, Super Troopers, Seinfeld, attempted suicide by shooting himself in the temple with a .38 revolver. He was diabetic and didn't want to go to the hospital for another amputation. Unfortunately, he survived and was severely wounded. He also was permanently blinded from the gunshot. There's a transcript of the police call that left me shook. He passed away 3 years later from a battle with diabetes. I remember reading this is why some people duct tape the gun to their hand if they attempt suicide, in case the first shot doesn't complete the job. That you have to clean lumps out from underneath the horse's foreskin from time to time. An octopus penis is actually one of their tentacles. So if you would go and pet an octopus at SeaWorld or some other place you could be groping their penis. The youngest recorded person to give birth was 5 years old. Cockroaches can fly at 5 kilometers per hour and can live 3 weeks without their head. They eventually die of starvation. They have a main brain in their head and also a primitive brain near their abdomen. Cockroaches also predate grass. The last one is not that scary, but kinda scary knowing they've been here so long, so getting them out will be harder, and they will probably outlive humans. There was an experiment once where, every hour, a rat had to choose between getting fed or having the pleasure nerve of its brain stimulated, and the rat being tested starved every time. It's pretty interesting but also kind of sad. Thanks. Freeman's Mind. My parents are swingers, and now well into their 70s. From my first job at KFC, you can't really tell the chicken is spoiled once you put it in the fryer. A friend that used to work at KFC said that they were told not to throw away the spoiled chicken, they would just boil it before frying. So yeah, no more KFC for me. That my dad likely has terminal brain cancer. I was setting up his my chart for him and stumbled upon the information. I lost my dad to brain cancer. Since you said likely, I really hope he survives. If you ever need someone to talk to, feel free to PM me. That my girlfriend once sucked her friend's husband's penis when she went to the bathroom yesterday. Don't put yourself through the pain of trying to continue the relationship. I've made that mistake before. And it isn't effing worth it. Leave her and find someone better. Also, the wife needs to know too. Unless you don't think she can handle the news. Effing cheaters. Aneurysms can happen to anyone at any time, for no reason. And can burst at any time for no reason. I can confirm. My partner passed of one earlier this year. We were talking in bed, I went to use the bath. She went to make coffee. Heard a crash. Every time you think of a fond memory, you rewrite that memory in your brain, and with time it will slowly deviate more and more from what you originally remembered, without you ever knowing it. The strange pistachio you get every few nuts, the one that tastes a bit funny, is because a navel orange worm died inside of it. Sorry, just think about eating its cute furry head next time. The way rabies kills. Once you have symptoms, you're already dead. It's harder to recognize suicidal people than you'd think. I don't really regret knowing this, but it's a depressing fact. Nonetheless, doctors performed surgeries on infants without anesthesia until the 80s. They thought the babies couldn't feel pain. From personal experience, just how fast pigs process a corpse. Had an old goat die in the barn, and didn't find her for a couple hours. At the time we had 2 pigs that were a few months old. Didn't realize just how much we had effed up by letting them be in with the goats that day. Come evening, we go to close up and do the evening chores, and find half of a goat spilled all over the floor, with our pigs rooting around the guts. And that's the story of how 15-year-old me learned to respect pigs. Sorta cliche, but there are millions and billions of living organisms on your body, so to them, you're their galaxy. Dying from starvation is because your body exhausted all of its resources to feed your brain. And then finally, as a last resort, it taps into digesting the muscles around vital organs in order to get the ketones your brain needs until there's only one muscle left, your heart. So technically you die because you ate your own heart. Hugging dogs can sometimes stress them out. Whales don't die of old age, they just run out of energy, to the point they can't swim anymore and just sink, which results in them drowning. That the human head can exhibit emotions and respond to commands for up to 30 seconds after a beheading. Thanks for watching Reddit Hero. Like and subscribe for more amazing Reddit stories. Also don't forget to share these stories with your family and friends. Click a video below to continue watching our previous Reddit stories.